Hey, what's up, guys? It's Greg. I'm here again. I'm sorry it's taken so long for me to get this video going, but we've been working on the shop in here, trying to clean everything up. If you take a look around here, we got everything kind of rearranged from the last time that it was from the last time you've seen it. Put up another lift. These are, cheapy Chinese lifts because unfortunately I'm not sponsored by, Benpack or Rotary. So, if Benpack or Rotary, you want to send me any lifts, I'd definitely take them. Shout out to both of y'all. Good lift companies, I'm sure, whatever, but these are cheap Chinese things, so that's what I trust my life to. We're going over the Range Rover today. I have looked over this thing a bunch of times, and I'm trying to figure out what I wanted to do with it. So the straw that actually broke the camel's back on this thing, I've had so many issues with it, going over all the stuff. We had our guy that comes and buys catalytic converters, and he came and offered me like $400 for the cats off of it, and I said, you know what, screw it. So I took the $400 for the catalytic converters, and that brings me down to $450 I've got into this thing, and I'm just going to tear it down, because as you're going to see in this video, this thing's probably got a shorter list of things that aren't wrong with it than things that actually are. So let's take a quick walk around. I'm going to start with the exterior, go into the interior, and then we'll talk mechanical. So we're starting here on the exterior of the car, and the first thing I want to mention is the paint. I don't know how much of this swirl you can actually see, but that's bad. This thing's been run through car washes and, I don't know, sandpaper or whatever has caused this thing to look like this, but this is some of the worst paint I have ever seen. This would probably take hundreds of hours of paint correction, even if it can be salvaged, to get this paint looking back to a good, acceptable condition. Now, both of the corner lights here, apparently this is a pretty common issue with these. The lenses have fallen off and they're broken. So they would both need to be replaced. You can see this one over here, also broken. The paint on the front bumper probably should have had a brush guard on the front of here because this thing is destroyed. So that would at minimum need to be repainted in order to look decent. The tires, there's a little bit of tread on a couple of them, but it's going to need new tires if I wanted to put it on the road. The mirrors, they're not folding the way that they're supposed to, so those would need to be replaced. Again, this paint, I mean, come on, guys. What are we running our cars through here? Car washes, I don't think car washes even do it that bad. Anyways, there's a crack in the taillight here. I think this might, yeah, that's just a piece of taillight, so that's broken. I noticed on the back here that somebody tried to repair this. Not the best repair I've ever seen. Surprisingly enough, not the worst repair I've ever seen either, but, whatever. The light back here, this light's fallen out. I think this one might actually be, yeah, that's the list of things that aren't screwed up. That light is okay. This, I don't know if that's what that's supposed to look like. There's a wire here that's been, taped up. I don't know what that's supposed to go to. So anyways, I moved to the hatch. The hatch works, but then I noticed that in here, when you lower the tailgate, that works okay and is really cool, and I always like that about Range Rovers, but you go to close it, and it doesn't close. I mean, that's obviously this is broken too, so this line here would need to be replaced. But then also this doesn't close. Oh, now it does. Yeah, sometimes it closes, sometimes it doesn't. Oh, closes that time. Yeah. Yeah, see? Oh, nope, there it goes. So one of those latches would need to be replaced. There's a bunch of wiring in here for, I assume, a system. Which is cool that he had it in there, but uncool that he took it out, because, that's even less stuff that I can take out of this thing. All the paint's missing off the back here, so I'm going to guess maybe there's a sub box back here. It's supposed to be a plastic trim piece over that. That's missing. What else? Geez, and we're still on the exterior, huh? I think that's about it for the major. Was this mirror? Yeah, this mirror's broken too, so both of the mirrors would need to be replaced. Oh, one of the wiper arms is just gone, so that was fun. That's not a major thing. There's some clear coat that's been, that's missing up here. So realistically, if we were trying to make this thing perfect, we would want to go through and basically repaint the entire thing. So that is the exterior of the car. Now we move on to the interior. And when you first open the door here, you're greeted by a door panel that is missing. I think that's supposed to be an airbag, little trim piece there. But the top trim piece along here is missing. The door panel's kind of just flopping. You know, I'm not even going to be able to keep that. Let's see here. This is pretty amazing here. I don't know what that is. Like raw glue over, I don't even know, cardboard of some kind. I don't know. The steering wheel, another pretty amazing thing. This is this part here is leather wrapped, and if you just look at this part, then it's a good steering wheel. But it gets to this point, and the leather's gone, and the entire rest of it is just rubber core steering wheel. So that would have to be replaced. When we got it, this piece was just sort of flopped out like that. So I threw it in so that it'd be out of my way while I was driving it, but that's going to need to be replaced. It's all broken. The switches, both of the switches for hill descent and what looks like low range maybe, both of those are supposed to have stalks on them so that you can actually press the buttons. They are both broken off. Paint's obviously chipping and cracking around the inside. This piece here, I think, is supposed to be a cup holder. I don't know. I think that looks like a cup holder. Yeah, that's a cup holder. But it's broken. It doesn't, it's supposed to have a cover on it. I don't think they would ship a Range Rover with a random piece of plastic coming out like that. So that's that. The headliner's starting to come down up here. Probably would need to replace that. What else? Oh, the speaker grill here is broken and missing. There's a piece over there. That wood piece is cracked and missing. The radio, I don't know if I have power to turn this thing on. But there's a strip missing out of the screen here. So that would probably need to be replaced to be, you know, in better shape. Instrument cluster actually works, which is cool. There's a light out on the left side of it. You can see where it's lit on the right side and not on the left. So there's a light out there, but that's about it. That actually works. Let's see. Moving into the back seats. Oh, see, this is what's supposed to be in the front. It's supposed to say Land Rover, but I think it's just a cover for the airbag. The speaker's missing on that side. It's apparently not on this side, so I don't know what that was all about. More paint missing along the back. This thing here is supposed to have oh, you can see right through. Look at that. It's supposed to have some clips on it, but that's missing. More wires on the other side there. It's just a mess. So mechanically, let me pop the hood up over here. Mechanically, as I mentioned earlier, the springs had been replaced because the air struts in these things do have a tendency to fail. The hood struts are going to need to be replaced. They're holding it right now, but they weren't earlier. Let's see. The engine did throw a check engine light, but I think it wasn't anything major. It did that while I was driving it one of these times. See some oil soaking going on here. I have actually not gotten under this thing because I made the decision not to rebuild it before I actually got it up on the lift. So that is going to be the fate of the $850 Range Rover. I'm going to tear it down. That's one of the things, the main thing that we do here is tear cars apart. So I might throw a couple of videos up on how to do different things on this vehicle, but this is unfortunately going to get torn down. And that brings me to a point that I wanted to make here, and this is about buying cars from auctions. I've seen a lot of people, a lot of videos, people talking about making, you know, great money and buying all these awesome cars that there's nothing wrong with them and clean title and oh my god, I bought it for half the price of what it normally would cost, you know, if I went out to a dealership and bought it. The thing to remember with buying cars from auctions, and this goes for dealer auctions, it goes for doubly for Copart and IAA and those sorts of places, the salvage auctions. The cars that are at those auctions are there for a reason. If they are in a front end wreck, it's a very obvious reason why they're there. They were in a front end wreck. If the engines are seized or the transmissions are blown, again, pretty obvious reason why it's there. That's a very expensive repair. Somebody took that to a mechanic shop and said, hey, my car's not shifting, my car's not starting, whatever. Mechanic said it needs an engine, it's going to be $5,000 to replace it. They said, screw it, just send it off to the auction, and that's why it's there. So if you have the engine, if you have the skills to swap that engine, you might end up with a very nice car. All you have to do is put an engine in it. But when you get a car like this that doesn't have anything obvious from the pictures, it runs, it drives, it's clean title, it hasn't been in any obvious accidents, be careful, because you're going to find a lot of stuff like this. This is not the first time we've had a car like this come in where it's clean title, it runs, it drives, but the amount of time it would take to fix all of the quote-unquote nickel and dime things and the money it would take to fix all those things on this car, I would much rather do an engine swap or a trans swap or a front end replacement or something like that, rather than try and get this thing back up into good running order or well sorted, as you would say. So, to that end, I didn't want to leave you with a boring, sad ending that we're just going to tear that car down. I went and bought something else. I actually bought two something elses. This is a 2009 Audi A4. As you can see, it's been hit in the front, but is in otherwise pretty good condition. So I bought that a couple weeks ago, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to tear it down or build it up. It actually only has about 89,000 miles on it, so it was in good shape otherwise. Now this is another Audi A4. That's the first Audi A4 there. There's another Audi A4 here. As you can see, this one was hit in the rear passenger quarter. Probably going to figure out where this is going, especially since those two Audis are the same color. This one has a perfect front end on it. Everything on the front of this car is perfect. Everything on the front end of the other car is not perfect. So I am going to take the front end of this car and I'm going to put it on that car, and we're going to do a little video series how to swap the front end on a B8 A4. And this is going to be a way easier project than the Range Rover ever had any chance of being, because that car's only got 89,000 miles on it and it's really nice condition. It's in really nice condition, other than just needing a front end, which we have from that car. So stay tuned, guys, because that's the next thing we're doing.